Why BlackBerry scores over Apple in India? See, worldwide, recently we seem to be seeing a trend where some people are even talking about the death knell of BlackBerry, where people are speculating that it might close down altogether. But in India, at least, when one of the largest mobile markets in the world, we are seeing BlackBerry doing really very well, and that too on a consistent basis. Here we have so many companies which have enterprise versions, and everybody has a BlackBerry, especially at the senior management levels. I too have a basic BlackBerry Curve. I find it so convenient, and I think things which have worked in favor of BlackBerry are the fact that BlackBerry Messenger, or BBM as we call it, I think that's one of the biggest incentives for using a BlackBerry. I in fact got my mother a BlackBerry Curve as well, because that way now we can, I'm in another city, she's in another city, so we can, exchange notes, and I can keep confirming to her all is well at my end. Through BlackBerry Messenger, I can message her as much as I want. So I think that, and especially when I look at the younger crowd, BlackBerry, when it first started off, there was this entire perception that it's meant only for corporates, it's only meant for the business executive. But over time, thankfully, BlackBerry changed that image. It went on to create these cool ads where they're talking about the fact that anybody can be a BlackBerry person. You can be a cool person, you can be a musician, you can be a college student, you can be just about anyone, and you can yet be a person who has a BlackBerry. And I think that campaign, everything had its impact. And I also feel that BlackBerry works because there are so many so many handsets, so many varieties. You can have a basic BlackBerry for as little as about 5,000 rupees, which is just about $100. And you can also have the more expensive BlackBerry, say the latest bold edition, which is upwards of 30,000. So that's about $600 plus. So therefore, there's a lot of variety. Whereas when I look at the Apple iPhone, there's very little variety. Apple is present in a relatively small way. It has very few stores of its own. Rather, it is tied up with some of the mobile operators, and it continues to be very very expensive. And the latest iPhone 4S would cost you upwards of 40,000. So that's like good $800 plus. And in India, one of the biggest problems, disincentives, whichever way you want to look at it, is the fact that there are none of these, network oriented schemes where you can actually get a handset very cheap, and then you're kind of tied to that network, and you need to, sign what is called a contract, where you're bound to remain with that network for an X amount of time, which may be, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, whatever be the case, and you pay that monthly commitment whatever you make. Here there's practically nothing like that, which pretty much surprises me, because if they do something like that, I think the uptake of smartphones, see, India is a very very big mobile market. There are upwards of 800 million mobile subscribers, mobile users in India, but at the same time the penetration of smartphones in India is really very low, and I think there's a huge opportunity. They are increasing smartphones, the presence of smartphones in India is increasing day by day, but at the same time they're still quite low compared to what the potential is. And I think that's where if these kind of contracts where you give out the phone cheap, but then you kind of make sure that the end users tied to you for the X period of time, I think you'll be able to witness much more sales on this front. At the same time, I also feel maybe these companies are scared that the person might walk away with the phone. I think outside maybe the regulations are stronger, and people know that there'll be certain penalties. Here in a much bigger country with a very huge population, probably it's more difficult to police, and that's why whatever be the cost of the phone, whether it's 5,000 rupees, like this one cost me about 10,000, upwards of 10,000 rupees, so about $200. And otherwise what we see is that whatever be the price, whether it's 20, 30, 40,000 rupees, whatever be the price of the phone, you have to pay everything upfront. So I think that's where the Apple iPhone is also kind of losing out on the battle. And so, looking forward, what I feel is that as of now, BlackBerry seems to have done, everything right. There have been these, few outages in the recent past where BlackBerry didn't function at all, and there was a lot of, chaos, panic out there, because there are a lot of people who are completely dependent on BlackBerry and its services. There are people who are like all over the world, and they're networking, over BBM. They're kind of exchanging real time messages, and those are probably, critical to the work that they do, like, those who work, say, in the forex markets, and any of those kind of jobs where interaction with people at a global level is very important, or even at a local level within a close knit group is very important. If that doesn't happen, there's a lot of panic and chaos which sets in. So therefore, see, applications wise, I think, there's absolutely no doubt. I think the iPhone is like the undisputed leader, although Android as a whole is pretty much, catching up. Android in India is getting bigger because definitely there are so many handsets, and that's where again I think, Apple suffers, because there's practically no choice of a handset. It's just the iPhone. There'll be different iterations. You might have an old iPhone 3 or 3G, and you might have an iPhone 4, iPhone 4S, which we thought would be the iPhone 5, but it turned out to be the iPhone 4S. So whatever, the limitations as far as the handset itself are concerned. Companies like Samsung are, I think, at the helm of affairs, where they're coming out with really innovative and amazing phones. Look at the Samsung Galaxy Note. I think it's a super phone. It's not just a smartphone. I think it's a super smartphone. And the Galaxy S2 before that, these have all been fantastic phones, built on the Android platform. So I think Android uptake will continue to rise, but BlackBerry as of now is doing so well in India. I just hope it continues to do well, and I hope all this, information about BlackBerry, approaching its death knell, I hope they don't prove to be true. Cheers, and thank you for watching this video.